Okay, I'm going to share a fun fact with you guys. Okay? Maybe not a fun fact. I think it's a fun fact, but you might at the end go, oh my goodness. Why did you tell me that, Miss Bray? So, have you ever tasted your sweat? Like when you're running and it kind of like drips down into your face and, you know, you're trying to wipe it off. It tastes a little salty, okay? Think about that. Now, since we're talking about the excretory system, sweat is a product of the excretory system, so this is why this is relevant. Have you ever seen someone with like a lighter color t-shirt, especially white, when they sweat and they lift up their arm and after it dries it's kind of yellow underneath? Have you ever wondered why that happens? This is why. There is a protein or something that is inside of sweat that is called urea. Now let's think about that. Where else do you think urea is found? I will tell you at the end of this lesson. Think about that. I'll make you think the whole time. Okay, so the excretory system. This system is the system that our body uses to get rid of waste. Things that are not good for our body. How does it get rid of the things that our body does not need? And how does it get rid of things that our body could be potentially dangerous to our body? So the system uses different organs to release waste. Some of these organs are in a different system, yes, but they're also a part of the excretory system. It's kind of like you being in more than one club. You could be in the band, but you can also be a part of a football team. So you can be a part of more than one system. So let's see the first system. So we're just going to put the system that uses different organs to release waste. Now, waste is anything our body does not need to survive or to use to turn into energy or to grow. So it releases waste. Excretory system. Okay? The lungs we talked about in the respiratory system. They take in oxygen, but they get rid of carbon dioxide, which is something that our body produces that is harmful to us if we keep it in our system. So our lungs actually get rid of that gas. So lungs take in So the excretory system is getting rid of waste, but they get rid of carbon dioxide. Okay, so our lungs are a part of the respiratory system, but also the excretory system. Okay. Our skin is the largest organ. Okay. Your skin is an organ. It is the largest organ that excretes. Excretes means to get rid of. Excretory, excretes, it gets rid of. It excretes perspiration, which is sweat. Small amounts of urea, like I just said. Urea and heat. Okay, when we did our experiment on how does the body cool itself, we learned that when the water evaporates off of our skin, or the sweat evaporates off of our skin, it cools our body. So it gets rid of some of the toxins in our body through our sweat. So when it evaporates, it gets rid of those toxins. It also gets rid of a small amount of urea and the heat, which is what I just described. Okay? I still have you thinking about what urea means, don't I? Good. We have the lungs. You're going to figure it out now. Skin if you haven't already. Let's see here. Bladder, kidneys, ureters, and the liver. What is produced in the bladder that sounds like the word urea? If you said urine, you're right, because urine and urea, they have the same component, or urea is in urine and it's also in your sweat. So think about that for a second. You're probably never going to want to lick your lips when you sweat again, huh? The kidneys filter out, so we're going to talk about the kidneys now. So our kidneys, you have 2 of them. Okay, kidneys, they filter out toxins in your blood. So it's kind of like, yeah, it just goes through a filter. It's filtering out all your wastes. It has toxins and wastes. Let me see, toxin, waste in your blood. They also excrete urine and heat. It's another way for us to cool off. So they create the urine in the kidney. But the kidney also filters out your toxins and all that bad stuff, the waste in your blood. And it is put back into your system once it's done in the kidney. So it's just like the whole circulatory system is a circle, and the kidneys is just one of the stops. Our body excretes. Our body gets rid of the waste through water, urine, heat, and carbon dioxide. Okay. It also excretes solid waste. We talked about in the digestive system. Why is this body important? Let's think about what happens if we do not get rid of all of the stuff that is bad. So let's think about something with a filter. Okay, a fish tank. If you have had a fish tank before and you have a filter in it, the purpose of the filter is to clean out the water. And if you don't have that filter, the filter is not functioning, you're going to have a buildup of a lot of things inside of the fish tank, and the fish are not going to be as healthy as they should if you have a filter, if that makes any sense. So you have to have waste, otherwise we would have a lot build up and it would be fatal. Our body gets rid of it for a reason. All right, we are going to continue on to the next page. It says excretory system, and we're going to focus on our skin, our kidneys, and our lungs in detail, because on the other page we just talked about it quickly. So for our skin, I'm actually going to do that. It excretes most of the body's heat, and we talked about that with our sweat and how our body cools itself during our experiment last week. Excretes most of the body's heat. It also gets rid of water, salt, and urea. That's why it tastes like salt. That's why it's important to keep drinking when you are sweating, because you are losing water and you are losing salt content, which you do need in your body. And drinking water and things like Gatorade will help replenish that. Okay, So the skin excretes most of the body's heat. It also gets rid of water, salt, and urea. Now we have the kidneys. We have two of them. We have the ureters, which are the tubes that go down from your kidneys into the bladder. We have the bladder, and we have the urethra, which is the tube that goes out, that pee comes out of your body through. We have kidneys. We talked about on the other page that the kidneys filter out the blood. They take all the yucky stuff out of the blood, but they also create urine as well. Ureters, bladder. The bladder. So the kidneys create the urine goes down the tube, the ureter, and into the bladder, which basically is a holding pouch, just like your colon is for solid waste. It is a holding pouch for the liquid waste, which is urine. And the urethra is a tube that it comes out of to leave your body. Now, why does your body produce those things? These parts work together to filter out wastes from the blood. Urine is created, and it contains water, don't need that, salt, and urea, just like sweat. We have some salt. Urea. And also, we lose some heat. But most of the heat is lost through the skin. If you think about urine comes out warm. That is how the heat is excreted. Okay, the next thing, so without this, all the toxins will build up in the body and in the blood, and we would not be able to survive. Without our skin excreting most of the body's heat, then we would overheat, and without our lungs getting rid of our carbon dioxide, which we're going to talk about, it will build up and we would not survive as well. So all of these work together in the excretory system, not necessarily working together, but they all have the same purpose of making sure all the stuff that our body does not need gets out of our body safely. So after we breathe in oxygen, and if you don't remember how the process of the respiratory system works, go back to our notes on that. After we breathe in oxygen, we release carbon dioxide. So when we inhale, we take in oxygen. When we exhale, we release carbon dioxide. And small amounts of water and heat, like through our saliva, and breath is hot.